Hey, and welcome back to Convos with Luconda K. I am your host, Luconda King, and without further ado, let's get into this next conversation. It's a little thick for me, but it's one of those I'm kind of excited to share, but at the same time, it was one for the people. So hopefully you all will listen up and hear your story within this story, okay? So last year there was a fast that I did. It closed some doors in my life and I never turned back. I surrendered every part of me to the Lord, and there were different things that I had to do daily to make sure that I was replacing that thing. It's just like an addiction. When you're getting rid of something, you have to have something to fill that void, right? So anyway, we had talked about some of those things in the last year as I was going through them, or as he was giving me the okay to release the information, right? So it wasn't at the same time I was dealing with it. We come up in this year, and there were people that I'm not dealing with this year, right? Not because they're bad people, but for where I am going. They cannot be a part of that. They cannot be close enough to me to influence anything. They cannot be close enough to me to where they can shift my focus in a brief moment. This is why they have to stay away. Because the injury itself, this brain injury, itself has things that I have to overcome, but I done claimed my healing long time ago, so I know God gonna deliver. That's what we know for a fact. So earlier today, Satan is never gonna stop working, right? I cut the situation off. The situation comes back, talks about being sick. When my people are sick, I'm going to get on this prayer line, right? So it took me like 3 hours to even read the message, get the message, whatever, because it didn't show up like that. So I get to talking to the Lord when I finally do see it, right? I'm talking to the Lord. I'm praying because I see what they're dealing with, right? So anyway, as I'm praying, there's information coming in to me. Now, he done told us to seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and all its righteousness, right? The key word there being first. So if I pray before I respond to you, if I pray before I call you, if I pray before everything, if I seek God before I do anything pertaining to myself or anybody else, I feel like I'm on the right track. I feel like I'm obeying what the scriptures say, because it tells us to be not only a hearer of the word, but a doer. So here it is. I'm practicing these things because he didn't tell me this until later. These habits that we're forming to get away from those other things and those strongholds and those generational curses and to be delivered from them, you can cast something out. But to seal that thing, you have to have faith. You have to keep believing God every day, several times a day. You think that that person who used to be on drugs does not crave it sometimes now, depending on the environments they go in or depending on the pressures of their life? No, you have to constantly stay in that fight. And when you get serious about your destiny and you know that he's after that and your relationship with God and Christ, get in the fight. Get in the fight. And how you get in the fight is you learn what that word says, and that's what you do. You learn what that word says, and that's what you say. You don't have to quote that scripture directly, but you better give yourself something to work with and keep your eyes fixed on the cross, fixed on Jesus, fixed on God, fixed on what he said, fixed on that word. Whatever is in association to the one and only true and living God, Jesus is daddy, right? Him. Put your mind over there. Don't worry about all this other stuff, because it's his responsibility to deal with that. So fast forwarding, I get around to finally responding after the prayer. And I shouldn't have, to be honest with you. But I thought it was innocent. I already prayed. What's the worst that could happen? Because if you sick, get this prayer going on, right? And I'll check in with you later. Innocent conversation. 3 exchanges between me and this person. After that, I couldn't respond anymore because there was nothing left to be said. You came with a problem. I called my dad about it. And what else do you want from me? Because it's not me who is doing it. It's him. So anyway, later on, I start to have this desire to do something, to say something, to get involved with something. It's not even a sin. You know how I know it's not a sin? I asked God. I wrote that prayer down because I ask God a lot of questions. Every day I'm asking God something. My mission in life is to wake up every day and ask God something because he's going to answer. That's how I stay in relationship with him. So I asked him these questions, and I also Googled. I Googled. I Googled the biblical meaning, and I Googled just regular Google. I went and got the strong concordance based off the numbers that I had saw, and I went and looked it up because I want to know. That's how the Lord communicate with me, right? So nothing comes out, right? Nothing. No harmfulness. I go reading the scriptures that are in association with what Google was saying. The things that were popping up in my spirit, I went and started reading the scriptures, right? Doing what I'm supposed to do, casting my cares, asking, seeking, knocking, waiting on him to get that thing done, inviting him into the situation, all the things that we are supposed to do as his children. Let me tell y'all, I did it anyway. I didn't get a no. So it must be okay for me to do since he didn't say no. He didn't say yes, he didn't say no. That's that free will he gives you. As I was, but right before I started, there was a pulling at me, as in the old me was trying to say, let me in. I just want to see. Curiosity will kill the cat every time. But the person that I am today was like, no, I don't think you should do that because it seems harmless, but we don't know what's on the other side, right? What could possibly come from that? Discernment is what it was. So every time I pray about a situation and it's me and God, and I go looking in the scriptures for something, there's this bubble of protection that forms. So it doesn't matter what is coming your way, you are protected, right? So anyway, that's what happens right beforehand. I do it, right? I commit to doing it. And I'm like, all right, cool. Well, why was myself fight myself and it don't feel no different? I write this letter to God. God, this ain't no sin. I didn't see where it was a sin. I'm just asking questions because if this is not a sin, why was myself fighting myself? Why was the old me fighting this new version of me? Like, what's that? As I am writing, I begin to feel pain that I haven't felt since the Lord and I decided to go on this tour of surrendering all of me to him. So every area that I laid down and we went on this fast and he was showing me things about myself, I began to feel this pain. Because I ain't felt you since way back when we started this journey, right? Okay, so Lord, I feel this pain and I get to describing the pain. And I say where it's located, all the good stuff, the details. When they tell you to be specific when you talk to the Lord, I do it. I tell all the details because I want you to give me an answer for everything that I say, because that's the kind of relationship that I have with him. That's the kind of understanding and that's the kind of answer that I want back. If you don't be specific with God, he ain't going to be that specific with you. But if you be very specific with him and you want those details, he will be just as detailed as you with you. How you communicate is how he's going to communicate to you. He tailors that communication to you. So when we know that, okay, the more specific I am, the more specific he is. I want to know. So with me wanting to know, I done cast my cares, I done made my supplication known, I done asked, I'm seeking. We just got to keep our checklist together, right? Okay. Pain is here. I'm praying, speaking against this pain, casting it down. Lord, this is here. I know by the stripes of Jesus I'm healed. Writing it down because we know. We know. All right. I feel like I need to go to sleep. And I go into this sleep. And anytime I go into a sleep suddenly, I know me and the Lord finna have a long night in some kind of way. And I fell asleep instantly after I wrote. I started feeling sleepy as soon as I was getting the details out. Why am I feeling sleepy? Okay, good. I'm just gonna go on, put this up. Come get me. What we doing? That's what I've learned to say. Yes, okay, here I come. You gonna have this, yes. Because you're gonna get everything out of me. Since I done surrendered everything, what else do I have left, right? So anyway, I do that, fall into this sleep. And it feels like I've been asleep a long time. But clearly I was on the sleep maybe 45 minutes. We gonna say that. And I pop up. And here come the answers. So I feel this, get the notebook. I get the notebook. I start seeing these numbers. Okay, when I see numbers, I'm going to get the Strong Concordance. I'm going to look it up in Hebrew and I'm going to look it up in Greek. And if there is a scripture that comes that I hear in my head, I'm going to take another look at it. So I got my computer open so I can read it in the NIV as well as the King James. And I'm on Google at the same time looking at these different things, because what does it mean on Google versus what is it saying in the scriptures? All my little research going, right? And I write all those things down. And he says, that is why. And I'm like, that's why? What you mean? Okay, good. You so matter of fact. What you mean, that's why? This is why we don't talk to them. This is why that door needs to be closed. Because they don't have to be a bad person to have spirits on them. You don't have to commit a sin in order for a seed to be planted. That exposure to things that we talk about sometimes, that is what happened. You have something that is me. You have me in you, and that light and that purpose. At every single turn, Satan is trying to kill it, steal it, kill it, and destroy it. So if he got to use somebody because you knew that they were sick or they needed some help, and yes, you did pray. But this is how it is. Some of us are walking with Christ, but the reason why we do some of the stuff that we do is because what we're exposed to. The people that we're exposed to. I love you. I want to help you, but you are bad for my purpose. You are bad for my destiny. You are bad for who I am transformed into. You are bad for the person that has to go into this new season knowing that God is reigning. You are bad for who it is that I have become, or the person I'm becoming. But it's the person I became because I surrendered everything. So this is why we can't hang out, because we don't have nothing in common anymore. Do I love you? Yes. Do I like being around you? Absolutely. But if every time I'm around you, I am being attacked, and it don't be like a girl, blah, 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 blah. No, it's just a little thing. Now what was on you done crept in my life, and now I'm having this pain that I ain't had in so long. So long. And it's like, oh my goodness. That is me saying, because I had that conversation, because I had them little couple of exchanges, I opened the door and said, come on in, say, do your thing. Because clearly I was supposed to leave you where you were and keep that door closed. So now how it shows up in my life, to them, they've been rolling with that. So it don't bother them. They're not chasing after God. They're not trying to just exercise what the scriptures say, if they read them. However, that's not a judgment. That's a, you chose this life, Bree. You chose to be on this path. You chose to stand on the word. You chose Christ. You said yes to God, and you decided to obey and believe God and have faith in God. You did that. So why wouldn't he? That's what we have to understand. The same way that he is consistently at us and chasing us about our destiny. I was sitting here talking to God about the fruit. And when he said what he said to me, he was showing me the root of it. That's why. you can't be talking to these people. That's why you can't open doors when I close them. I know what's best for you. I know what is wrong with you. I know what you deal with. I know what your struggles are. I know what you need to be healed from. I know what I'm delivering you from. I know what is to come. I know what I'm sending your way. I know what I purposed in you. That's God talking to us. And so many times, because we love someone or something, we're opening the door for Satan to come in, steal, killing, and destroy. Now, had I not been in this bubble, I wouldn't have got it. But here's the thing. I don't get on social media past a certain time. That's just how God has me. And I'm definitely not going to get on there on the weekend. I had the urge to get on social media. Why? You don't even like social media. What we getting up there for? Please tell me. I opened it up and I went through, I think it was 3 posts and videos. And I got to that either 3rd or 4th one. And I was like, oh, I want to repost this. But a spirit jumped off from a word that I saw on the screen. And it was like, I instantly started feeling anxiety, like I was scared or something. Oh yeah, he didn't give me that. He didn't give me that spirit. So now I'm talking out my mouth because I know he didn't give me the spirit of fear, but he gave me the spirit of power, love, and of a sound mind. So anything that causes me to be anxious, anything that causes me to overthink, because I'm not a person that overthinks, I can't do it. You will not stress my brain out when God done already gave me that healing. I accepted that healing. By Jesus' stripes, I am healed. You will not cause me problems. You will not. So I quickly start to focus on the cross again. Right here I am praying, casting stuff down, throwing it into the abyss. You know, the stuff that we say when we know we in this warfare, that we're trying to protect ourselves. The scripture, that's what we're saying. And a number shows up in the midst of me saying this. All right, come on, strong concordance. Let's get it together. And it gives a name instead of a definition to a word. It gives a name. And I go looking up that name. And all it is a transferring of what's on somebody to somebody else. That's all it is. This is why we have to guard our minds. You have to guard your ears, your gates. You got to guard your heart. Because that simple thing of trying to help and be of service and do the right thing for somebody else, putting yourself in somebody else's shoes, because had that been me, I would have want somebody to show up for me like that. So that's what I did. However, we have to sometimes admit that the prayer is all that's needed and not the response to the person. You got to protect what God done healed. You got to protect the things in which he has given you. And the way we do that is through the word and guarding ourselves. So it's very important that we do so. So my message for you all today is to make sure that you checking in with God first above all things. Because I can't imagine how this would have gone had I not already checked in with God. Had I not said the prayer first before I talked to them during all this other stuff that I was doing. And it's so easy for this thing to look like the angel of light. Come on. We know him, don't we? And with us doing that, we can never let our guard down. So beware, beware, beware. The fight is always going to be on as long as you choose Christ. Guard your ears, guard your eyes, guard your heart, guard your mind, guard your relationship with God, guard your relationship with Christ, guard your relationship with your family. But most of all, make sure you are in your word, because that's your weapon. That's your weapon. And I don't think them people was trying to hurt me in any kind of way. It's just we don't agree, so we can't walk together, and that's scripture. So whatever you believe in, that's your thing. But what I believe in, what I have to deal with, is what I done committed to.